Hello, I'm Neko Vick.
And I'm Vick.
This year's National History Day topic is Turning Points in History. Our turning point in history is Patty Hillsman and how she impacted Clark County and its education. Patty Hillsman broke the gender barrier and transformed leadership in Clark County. Patty remained single her entire life and focused instead on being an educational leader when no other female in Georgia was so brave as to take on a leadership role of a school.
Patty dedicated most of her life to educating others. This is how she made the Clark County schools better for the children and others. First, she taught in Jackson and Morgan County. Then she taught elementary school in Athens. Later on, she also taught Latin and Greek at Athens High School, now Clark Central High School, and became the first principal of a junior high school in Athens, Clark County, Georgia, and the first female principal of Georgia.
Patty's mother, married to John Owen Hillsman on the 23rd of February, 1870, was born in 1852 and died in 1929, just a few years after Patty started as the principal of Athens Junior High, now Clark Middle School. Patty continued to live with her mother and sisters throughout her entire life, teaching her the power and strength of women.
Patty Hillsman was part of a large Confederate family, having 7 siblings, 5 boys and 3 girls, including Patty, with her being one of the youngest. Her father was born in 1845 and died in 1907. His name was John Owen Hillsman. He had 5 siblings, 3 boys and 2 girls, including himself, and he did fight for the Confederate side in the Civil War. This troubled history leads some people to believe that Hillsman should also have its name changed in the similar way of Alps and Chase Street Elementary because of her father and Thomas R. Cobb, a family friend of the Hillsman family, who also happened to be the founder of the Lucy Cobb Institute, the school Patty went to.
Lucy Cobb was an institute in Athens, Georgia. It was a secondary school for young ladies from well-known nearby families. The school was founded in 1859 by Thomas R. Cobb. He named the school after his eldest daughter, who died at the early age of 13. Thomas was an American lawyer, author, and politician, and he fought in the Civil War. He died on December 13, 1862.
As you know, Patty grew up in a wealthy and popular family. She attended the Lucy Cobb Institute in Athens. Later in college, she attended the University of Chicago and went to graduate school at UGA, Tennessee, and Columbia. She was very smart and a hard worker.
Hillsman comes from the Americanized form of the German word Hillsman with 2 N's, which means strife or battle. The name Patty comes from the Latin name Patricia, which means nobleman, a man who belongs to a noble class. This is significant as Patty bravely took on many roles that would otherwise only been given to men historically. Patty battled throughout her entire life to blaze new trails for women in Athens, Georgia. For this reason, on her deathbed, the superintendent, Samuel Woods, wrote her a letter encouraging her that he would name the future Eastside Middle School after her to honor her legacy of female leadership in Clark County.
During the time of Patty Hillsman's teaching career, many people largely disapproved of miniature high schools for improperly teaching kids. Within 20 years of loud, persistent calls for development, it was finally heard. In 50 years, the altar is being made to create middle schools or junior highs, and not just for miniature schools, but for every school, letting middle schools be introduced at around the 1910s.
During the time when Patty Hillsman was young, superintendents and college presidents were disappointed at the carelessness of the present-day school establishment. Waste is what they called it, and it was used to decrypt undergraduates who had left their school early because they had been held back so many times. This was a problem because if less and less people were graduating, less and less jobs would be filled. Later, thankfully, this became less of a problem after creating better education programs and creating junior highs, including Patty's hard work on making education better. Patty Hillsman never had to deal with this problem, though, because during her education at Lucy Cobb, all the girls were among the elite groups of students, so they never had a problem with this area in girls' education.
During Patty's childhood, education was developing. People were noticing that for all the new industrialization to continue and to work, people needed more education. More and more immigrants were coming to the United States that didn't know how to read, write, or even speak English. This led to more people needing training for industrial jobs. A couple years later, they added manual training to elementary schools so that later in life it'd be easier to get a job. Then, later in Patty's life, she became an educator and helped many kids and families.
Our school, Hillsman Middle, was named after Patty Hillsman in honor of her hard work in Clark County. Patty worked as an educator in Clark County from 1906 through 1951. That's 45 years. During that time, she worked as the principal of Athens Junior High on Child Street for the 7th and 8th grade for 26 years. She died in Florida on August 28, 1964, and was buried in the Oconee Hills Cemetery.
Today, some kids believe that Patty still haunts the halls at Hillsman Middle. People claim to have seen the piercing blue eyes of the portrait of Patty Hillsman in the library to follow them around. And some people say they can hear Patty telling them to stay on the right side of the hallway when they're on the wrong side.
I'm Abby Green.
And I'm Neko Vick.
I hope you enjoyed learning about this turning point in history.
Bye!